So, John, you said you were making this use promises? Begin requests. Check if our function is empty. What does that mean? I thought we talked about these comments that just repeat the code. Well, whatever. So you make a clone. Wait. .get isolate clone. I don't know why you're cloning the objects. Set aligned pointer. Oh, you're cloning the, you're trying to make instances of the class or something? I don't know. Arguments, set up local function. Function begin requests is something weird. I don't know what this is supposed to. Wait, here you register a callback. So the user would register a callback first, and then they would something called begin request. I don't know how this function gets called. How does this function get called? Who is this called by JavaScript or something else? What language did I use for my website? I used HTML and CSS. This is the stuff that I wrote. I wrote all this stuff. Like, there's a file. Essays.html is this. And I'm modifying this file whenever I want to add, like, so when I added this videos page, so I added this videos page recently, and I went through the contact page, and I added this link here. I went to the microblog page, added this link, essays, added this link, and then I obviously made the videos thing. And for each of these essays, I made the videos link. So if you look at the diff, it's just me adding the link in a bunch of spots, and then the videos page itself. So it's just plain HTML, which means it works the same way on the website that it works on my machine. Clone required for internal field pointers be different. Okay. Got it. What country do I live in? United States. We're not looking into V8 code. We're looking into code using V8. This is a JavaScript plugin thing. IIS pipeline calls begin requests. Wait, how? Oh, because this is a web server. So the server gives you a begin request. Okay, that makes sense, John. Yes, Twitch Larin. My website is a static website. Well, I haven't written an Nginx module either, so I don't. It's just I'm so used to JavaScripty stuff being client stuff, like on web pages, that yeah. But I got you now. So here you're calling the function that they registered, and you're giving it these things, which are different than the global versions, which means if the user accesses the global versions, they're not gonna get these pointers. Check if our function returned anything. I don't know what that means. Would result be empty if they threw an exception? Because if they threw an exception, then don't you want to log it or something? Or return an error to get like an error 500 or something? Do I use linter for my code? Yeah. Best mode for learn coding. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, thanks, Code Gaming. Well, that would have been a good joke to make in the moment. You're learning Java in school. Do I recommend also learning Python on my own, or master Java and move on to Python? I wouldn't say move on to Python. I mean, like, you shouldn't think, okay, I learned Java, now I'm going to do Python, and then forget everything I did with Java. Don't do that. They're different tools that you should, like, you don't need to learn all these tools, but it's useful to know several of them. I think you should probably just stick with Java, otherwise you'll get confused on some concepts. However, at the same time, you might be enlightened about some concepts in Java if you see it done a very different way, like in a language like Python. I'd say stick with Java, unless if you want to work on projects, and like if you have some projects in mind and you're thinking, oh well, Java has, like, I would need to write a lot of code in Java to make this work, but I heard that there's some things in Python that would make it way easier. So like if you're going to do scientific computing or data science or machine learning, things around that domain or those domains, then Python has a lot of tools, and I don't think Java has as many tools. So if you're more interested in machine learning and stuff, then you'll probably have a better time picking up Python. There's a lot of stuff that both Python and Java have a lot of support for like making web servers and application servers. So it doesn't really matter which one you pick, so may as well use Java. Yeah, it is a nice keyboard Dima. If you want to get rich, go with Java. I don't think that advice makes any sense. Will I upload my Twitch bot to GitHub Public? I don't know. Yeah, Python is used a lot of data science. Sorry, we're getting distracted a lot here, John. You think that Python changes a lot? Well, I think they won't make the same mistake, but who knows? But for someone coming in new, I don't think they would need to worry about Python 2 that much. So here we see, so if the callback returns a promise, what does that mean? Promise results. Callback return from the promise. And then we make a new function and we do then. Okay, and we say it's pending. But, okay. So, let's see. IIS. I want to know. Well, that's not what I wanted, but. I don't want that. I want this. Maybe? Is this it? So, finish request. Should not process any additional. Okay. Continue means pass it to the next handler, and pending means. So what do you do in the case of pending? When you say pending, later you indicate completion. Does it say we need to call indicate completion? The following example. Yeah, there's no example here. Victor, correlation is not causation. Pending allows the execution to continue and doesn't block other threads. And yeah, I get that, but I want to know more details. I mean, I don't have a specific question in mind. I just want to learn more about it. Excuse you. This is annoying. It says the following example code, but it doesn't give me the example code. It'd be really handy to have that code. Oh, where is the example code? Where is the example code? I think something just dropped out. It's COBOL number 1. Yeah. Yeah, so, but why? Okay. in what circumstance is it realistic that you would want to return pending? What's the why wouldn't you be able to respond immediately? That, like, I don't see why I don't know why IIS allows it to be asynchronous, and I don't know why you're allowing it to be asynchronous. Do you have an example? JavaScript code that makes it asynchronous? HTTP fetch. I don't see how this helps. So what I imagine is you would do is you say register, you get the request response. Well, this would be async, I guess. And you would say, like, if you want to implement a proxy, then you could do HTTP fetch or like request.url, request.host, request.url. Well, coolproxy.com, request.path, and true request.method, and params, whatever. Make proxy all requests through coolproxy.com. So client response. So when we get the thing from coolproxy, then we need to say server response dot send, I don't know, client response dot result or body or something. I don't know the specifics, but like we're implementing a proxy, and then we just say return OK or something, because what I think is, like, this wouldn't be async. This is how I think about it. The callback, its job is to say whether it should be handling the request or if some other handler in the server should be handling the request. For example, the static content handler or something, I don't know. Or the default 404 page or whatever. So I would imagine that it would do its work asynchronously and just return OK immediately. And OK says, yeah, we know how to handle this. Like, this callback can handle that request. I don't know why you would want to defer this. New tab. Doesn't Twitch check for bots? What do you mean? Check for bots. So so the problem with this, in my mind, is this doesn't tell. Well, hold on. Finish request. IIS has finished processing request level notification. Should not process any request notifications. I don't know what that means. But I would... I mean, I don't think this would be wrong, but like I would tell IIS immediately that we're planning on handling /test. So I would immediately return this, and then in the background do the fetch, and then write the response and all that stuff. Maybe it doesn't work that way. I can't tell. I don't know, Ultimate SF4 guy. That begin request does. You mean this path? Yeah, I know. This is the other path that you're handling, where in that case it would be where I would go here. So if it's not /test, then you would immediately return continue, because it would be a fulfilled promise. And it's fulfilled because there's no awaits that happened before this return. But I don't know, it just seems a bit confusing to me. Oh, you mean when it's not a promise? Yeah. In which case it always returns that result. But I'm saying I don't know why you would write it this way. It just hangs IIS for a little bit. I mean, not hangs, but it's probably that I just don't know enough about IIS to know how it works. I honestly never use it, so. This is very fragile. This means this is very prone to crashes because you're relying on the user to pass in the right object. To pass in the wrong object, things explode. Where is that? I guess the user isn't passing the object because you're doing that here. Okay, never mind. You're fine. Ignore my last comment. Though you don't have a way to distinguish whether it's a failed or success, which is a bit odd, but do you need an ESLint RC? I thought you could just use it without some fancy file. I'm gonna resurrect my Coke. It's had enough timeout for one day. Okay, now I know to put my Coke there instead of there, so if I stick with the wires, it doesn't explode. Right. To check your logic. Oh, you just want me to look at this thing as well? This is for a response. HTTP response, yeah. So. Invalid signature for write. args1, that would be MIME type. Well, I guess I gotta ask, do you have any tests for this? Because you're asking me to check your logic. Isn't that the job of your test suite? Can I Fine, here's the keyboard, once again. No Coke on it, luckily. Only got on the desk. Because I knocked over the Coke while I was holding it, so, you know. Use different rules for the test folder for the test files. Could you make an ESLintRC file inside of that test directory? Tests passed. Do your tests cover all the cases that you care about? No, this is not a Samsung keyboard. This is a Real Force Topper keyboard. Link in the description. Run all tests. URL tests. Run all tests. URL. What tests are you talking about? Are they in here? Are your tests not in your project? So it's weird that you make both of these. I see why you're doing it, but it's still weird. So you max bytes. Okay. Length and buffer. Wait, hold on. Okay. Buffer is equal to string. Buffer size is string. That's odd. This is also odd. That there's an implicit conversion. I think that's weird, but sure. Wait, so an array buffer, does this give you the number of bytes or the number of elements? And does this give you a pointer to the bytes or a pointer to the elements? I mean, not that there's much of a difference, but because you're assuming that it's a uint8 array, but you could be given a uint16 array or uint32 array or a float 32 array or something. It's implicit since you made the class in the header file. Oh, you made these? Made value scoped, okay. I think this is a code smell because like in this context, first off it looks weird. You may as well just call dot size or dot length and dot pointer or whatever. But in a different context, like if you're passing these as function parameters, then you may accidentally be giving instead of giving the buffer size, you may be passing it as flags or some other. I don't know. It seems weird. It's unusual. Like the standard containers don't behave this way, so I make it not behave that way. Generally, I'd try to follow what the standard does, or how the standard makes it feel. Overrides a couple of rules such as prefer arrow callback rule, which does not occur. Does ESLint have a Slack channel? Maybe you can ask in there. They might know. User guide. Mailing list. Chat room. They have a Gitter. You can try asking in the Gitter. Okay, so you get the byte length, so that's good. Moving on, we get the MIME type. We set the content type to the MIME type. Okay. Oh, great. I really need to clean this desk. It's kind of sticky. So, bytes to write. That doesn't look right. Yeah, this is wrong. No, this is not wrong. My bad. No. My bad. Buffer size minus buffer offset. 0. When would buffer offset be greater than buffer size? I guess here that would be when. Okay. If you have 0 bytes to write, you'll still call this code. Is that intended? Do I use IRC Freenode? No, I don't. I used to back in the day, but I don't use IRC. CBSent has nothing but should have the bytes written. You mean CBSent is 0 after you call write entity chunks? It could be that it buffered it, maybe? I don't know. No idea. Are you talking about the case where has more data is false? Then CBSent is 0? Don't know. Yeah, we looked at this last time. SDN. If it completed synchronously. And you're saying third parameter is false. So you're saying asynchronous false, which means synchronous should be true. So number of bytes sent to the client if it completed synchronously. So does it actually give the response data correctly? It's just CB sent is wrong? HTTP data trunk. It looks like you're initializing it. Let's see what fields it has. Oh, great. The link is broken. Link to is broken. So you're setting data chunk type. Let's bring this over here. Setting it to from memory. And from memory has two things in it. So it looks like you're doing everything right. I don't know if they read the job votes. It may not complete yet if the call completes synchronously, but I think it has to. It's not, it doesn't explain what happens if async is false. Oh, so I mean, this implies if buffering is turned on, then it may be what Piano Boxer is saying might be the case. Is buffering turned on? Maybe you could turn buffering off and observe the behavior. There's the missing example again. Well, how about you explicitly turn it off and see if that makes CV sent non-zero. Like the logic you have here looks alright. I mean, I think some of it's kind of funnily written, but yeah, it looks alright.